Hello. Hi. We have gone through a couple of small brief lectures, which range between maybe 5 to 6 minutes, which is not too long, so that we can try and absorb the concept. Of course, we may see our other element here, which may be our fourth element, third element, which deals with the national classification system. And probably we're going to see the evaluation of qualification, which connects with what we talked about earlier, so that we see how our qualification cascades into these particular systems. Now, the national classification system guides how our program, meaning the qualification that you've gone through, is classified. Of course, qualifications are mainly classified under a larger field, which we call field of learning. It's actually a broader field. And then you may see the qualification that you went to school, maybe bachelor's in accounting, which may fall in a larger field, which we call business, commerce, and probably management. You may also see maybe ICT as a field, but if you say maybe you did something to do with computer engineering or systems engineering, could be a subfield of ICT. So that's what we mean when it comes about qualification can be categorized in a larger field, and then there are subsystems, meaning the qualification you did, and of course domain being the key units, meaning the nodes, or rather the modules, I beg your pardon, that were connected to the learning outcomes. Each program has modules or other subjects or topics, which could be domains that are connected to the learning outcome, which probably people may refer to as objective. We're going to look at learning outcome development and outcome based training at the next module, to see how we develop learning outcome, the smallest unit of what we are talking about now in terms of placing our qualification. So don't confuse the levels we saw earlier. Now here we are dealing with the program that you acquired, the name of that program. How can you fit in within any one of these element? Let's say, for example, like I mentioned earlier, business, commerce, and management could be a field. Bachelor's of accounting could be now a subsystem, and then maybe modules under that particular accounting aspects, which are connected with the small statements, which we call objective and learning outcome. That hierarchy can give a proper layout on how our qualifications are classified. Of course, you're going to see shortly some of the aspects that may be broken down here on how the fields are. Now, if you look at them on my left, now BQA, out of the research within the industry, there are about let's say 14 classification of different field names where our qualification may fall at. Now you can see these are a larger group. If you've done a qualification in agriculture, you fall under agriculture and natural conservation. I mentioned earlier, if you've done something with accounting, finance, will be falling under business, commerce, and management. Of course, you have cultural and arts, which is more of visual arts, acting, design, and so on. Education and training, so on and so forth. So if you go through your slides, you're going to see these classifications, which are very important. ICT as well, something to do with maybe computers, media technology, anything to do with technology may fall under this. Anything to do with MOLAO or other regulations, which is maybe security, probably even taxation. Taxation is a compliance aspect, may fall under law and security. Of course, manufacturing, engineering, and technology. You have automation, electronics, and other aspect. Mining, of course, a major part of this country is mining. We may have different qualifications that fall under mining. Of course, natural, mathematics, and sciences, physical planning and construction, and of course, services. Now, one thing before I conclude here, services may not be fall within a particular subject. It's those qualifications that are more of service. If you talk about maybe military defense, those qualifications are within service. Travel and tourism, probably being a chef, it might not fall under business or ICT. So that's why you see some qualification may fall under service, because they are service oriented qualification. So don't wonder why any one of your qualification may not be an ICT training or mining. Probably it could be within this category of service. Another thing, there are people who may not have progressed within a particular specific line, but probably those may fall under what we may call here general, what do you call it? General skills. Now we're talking about if you have your PSLE only, or you have your A levels, or perhaps you may have your BGCSE or your IGCSE only. And there are so many people who may not have progressed with a specific line, but now they are working with a huge experience background. Now, if they were to be evaluated, they may be classified under general skills, not service skill, but general skills. So it's very important to look at this and appreciate how BQA may classify your qualification within your evaluation of qualification aspect. All right, so looking at this now, I think we are ready to look at probably what we may see your evaluation of qualification. So this is the report that BQA may provide you after you present your qualification for evaluation. Now, it falls within the mandate we talked about earlier. It might have maybe the names of the qualification, the original qualification. Probably this could be your domain, for example. This is your domain, yes. Now, the ETP that you went to school to, for example, this was an external qualification evaluation. We could have local, maybe from BAC or BUST, but now this was more over an external qualification. Now, in this case, you have a awarding body being UK. There's a difference between awarding body and the ETP. ETP is the institution that you went to school to. But it's not surprising to see you went to a particular institution, but your examination was offered in another institution. In UK, maybe what we call maybe Botswana Examination Council. We may have other external examination like ACCA. You went to school to BAC, but you did your examination from ACCA. So differentiate between awarding body and the ETP you went to school to. Now, not to mention, we classify the same domain. Now, since this person did business studies, I mean Masters of Business Administration, I beg your pardon, they were classified under business, commerce, and management, just like we saw earlier. And of course, you can see they were classified under level 9 because they went to do masters. Masters is up to level 9. So you can see how the report falls into place under these particular categories that we have here. A quick one from this level now, if you're accrediting yourself as an assessor or moderator, now you may now see that the report may go to assessor moderator. So as an assessor, you are granted this certificate. You can see on my right, you have the certificate here, which is probably as an assessor, and the same person is granted under business administration. Now, they may be awarded a level lower because how it's structured in terms of the regulation is that you cannot train someone within the same level. We are going to talk about that a little bit in the next step where we look at the accreditation process. Now, this one was awarded level 8, although they had masters, because you can only train, monitor, supervise someone below you. So that's why you may see this. Now, BQA may require you after every 5 years to actually renew your accreditation. So it's similar the way that you have here. You may be granted your number, and probably these are the key aspects that you say. Now, this person has been awarded full registration. There is provision and full, and we're going to look at something else a little bit shortly. Now, as I wind up, there is also moderator, which is next, which is similar to what we already have here. It's similar to assessor. It also has some component of moderator. There you are. And of course, the same person was awarded moderator, but also in level 8 within the business administration, which gives you quite a lot of scope. Of course, you're given a fresh moderator number. It also expires within 5 years. This person was granted full moderation based on what we saw earlier, your evaluation of qualification. So you see, this report goes further to give you the assessor accreditation and goes further to give you moderator accreditation based on what you've been awarded here. Now, this was a little bit of small synopsis of the classification or national qualification classification system on how we classify our qualification. I'll see you shortly just to guide you through the regulations in terms of accreditation of assessors and moderator. All right, see you shortly. Okay.